We never quite know when our final day on Earth will be. We hope to make many happy memories and sometimes capture them on camera to enjoy later. However, things don't always go to plan, and the footage taken by ourselves or by others could turn out to be our last. Be warned, some of these clips are not for the faint of heart. Ivan McGuire was a keen skydiver. He successfully dived from a plane over 800 times and often recorded himself and others so that he could enjoy the experience again afterwards. Tragically, this footage taken in April 1988 would turn out to be his last. As Ivan excitedly filmed another jumper exiting the plane, he jumped alongside them. Only soon, he came to the chilling realization that he had forgotten a key piece of equipment: his parachute. As he plunged 10,000 feet towards the earth below, he captured his final words: "Oh my God, no." Ivan's body was later found in the woods approximately 1.5 miles from the Franklin County Sports Parachute Center where the plane had taken off. The following footage was taken by Clarence Schultz. On the evening of April 9, 2015, the resident of Fairdale, Illinois, was at home with his wife, Geraldine Schultz. Having just finished their supper, Geraldine told Clarence to look out of the window. Upon doing so, he saw a huge, ugly tornado coming towards them. Clarence went upstairs to fetch some lanterns, and whilst there, he took out his phone to start recording. Even as the tornado got closer, Clarence thought it was going to miss them, but sadly, he was wrong. The tornado ripped through the house at speeds of up to 200 miles per hour. Clarence was standing next to the chimney, which fell on top of him and ultimately saved his life. However, Geraldine was not so lucky. She passed away along with the couple's neighbor, Jacqueline Closa. Clarence suffered a crushed vertebrae, and 21 other local residents were injured by the storm. In 2019, the Chicago Transit Authority released footage of a train operator who was fired after his train struck and killed a woman on the tracks. The unnamed operator can be seen looking out the window, laughing and waving to cars passing by on the expressway nearby. Even though his attention was diverted for just 12 seconds, it was a violation of train safety protocols. It also meant that he failed to notice a woman, 37-year-old Felon Smith, who had walked onto the tracks to try to retrieve her cell phone. In the words of Smith's sister, "As you can see, he notices he hit something. He stands up, his whole facial expressions change. He could have seen my sister if he was paying attention." The train driver lost his job, and the family of the victim said they intend to file a lawsuit regarding her wrongful death. These shocking images show the final moments of Yace Onfroy, better known as XXX Tentacion. On June 18, 2018, the 20-year-old rapper was shot and killed by 22-year-old Michael Boatwright. Boatwright, together with 3 accomplices, had tracked Onfroy to Riva Motorsports in Deerfield Beach, Florida, intending to rob him. The attackers blocked Onfroy's car outside the dealership and tried to take the rapper's chain from around his neck, as well as other expensive items. When a struggle ensued, Boatwright shot Onfroy and the attackers fled. Onfroy's step-uncle can be seen exiting the car during the robbery and running for his life. He would survive, but his nephew, XX Tentacion, bled to death from a gunshot wound to his aorta. Boatwright was later captured and received 2 consecutive life sentences plus 30 years in prison without the possibility of parole. His accomplices were also charged and are now, thankfully, behind bars. This seemingly innocent footage shows 16-year-old identical twins, Jasmia and Tasmia Whitehead, entering their school in Conyers, Georgia. What it doesn't show is the 2 honor roll students brutally beating their mother to death. In January 2010, 34-year-old Jarmeka Whitehead, known as Nikki, was found dead in the bathroom of her home. She had been beaten by her daughters with a vase and stabbed repeatedly. Though the twins initially pled not guilty, evidence showed that they had committed the brutal attack. They later pled guilty to voluntary manslaughter. They are each currently serving 30 years in prison, though they could be paroled as early as 2026. Pilot error and a miscalculation of the plane's weight are thought to have led to the crash of a passenger flight in Cuba. Cubana de Activacion Flight 972 took off from the airport in Havana on the 18th of May 2018. As it attempted to climb, the plane struggled due to its loading and weight imbalance. CCTV footage captured its final moments as the plane spun wildly out of control and tumbled to the ground. The engines can also be heard in this haunting footage. 112 lives were lost, and only one of the plane's passengers managed to survive, albeit with severe injuries included an amputated leg and spinal injury that left her paralyzed from the waist down. In 2013, a routine building demolition took place in Russia that ended in tragedy. 29-year-old Evgeny Titov was taking his lunch break on a construction site and took out his cell phone to record the workers. They were demolishing an old brick building using a bulldozer. He thought he was at a safe distance, but as the structure began to fall, he soon realized he wasn't. The people in front of him managed to dodge the tsunami of bricks, but Titov wasn't so lucky. He reportedly suffered a smashed skull, broken ribs, a fractured pelvis, and damage to his internal organs. Despite the best efforts of others, who can be seen in the video checking on T-Top in his final moments, he soon died after. On July 22, 2018, cameras at an apartment complex in Brazil captured the moments before and after a woman was murdered. Tatiane Spitzner and her husband, Luis Manvele, returned home in the early hours of the morning. They can be seen arriving in a car park and appear to be having an argument. Moments later, Tatiane runs from Luis, who chases her and grabs her in the elevator. Tatiane struggles to try to get away, but she is unable to, and the last time we ever see her, she is pushed onto the floor and ordered into the apartment. "20 minutes later, Luis re-enters the elevator, covered in blood and clearly in distress. He starts wiping down the elevator in an attempt to get rid of the evidence. As we now know, this blood came from Tatiane's body, which had been thrown into the street from their 4th floor balcony. Luis had taken her body back into the apartment. He later claimed his wife had jumped, but an autopsy revealed that she had died from asphyxia. Luis was sentenced to more than 31 years in prison for the murder. A horrific crash that resulted in death was captured on police dashcam in December 2023. In Warren, Michigan, police stopped the driver of a red Chevrolet Cruze for a traffic violation. They asked to see some ID, but the driver said they didn't have any. When the officer asked them to step out of their vehicle, the suspect fled, resulting in a chase. Events then took a tragic turn when a few minutes later, the suspect ran a red light. They collided with a box truck and the Chevrolet became wedged beneath it.
The window broke.
Can you put the car in park?
Here's the bar.
So the reason I stopped you is because the plates expired on the car. Yeah.
I'm just coming from work.
Oh yeah? Is this your car?
No, it's my girlfriend. I live down the
Do
street.
you have your license with you and
No.
registration?
I don't have my license.
Nothing? Alright. Is your girlfriend's car?
Yeah, she down the street. She got her license.
Where at?
Literally, I'm just coming from work.
Where do you work at?
Still westbound on Wood, Blackmail Drive. And he's 1050 into the grass, northbound Lawrence. He's in the grass, jumping back down northbound. Dreads? Dreads. 20 short dreads. Walking. He's up in the grass. Just parallel. All right, we got the lead again from center line. He's jumping through the grass just south of 10 and east on Lawrence. Somebody go to Sherwood in 10 miles for me. All right, we're by that apartment complex just east of Sherwood, coming out to 10. All right, west on 10. You're good, clear, sorry.
Yep. Approaching Sherwood.
Through Sherwood. Alright, approaching Ryan. Center lane. Alright, he's slowing for Ryan. It's a red. 1050 into a box truck. He's underneath the box truck.
The driver was pronounced dead at the scene, and when officers searched the car, they found a handgun on the floor. In the words of Police Commissioner Bill Dwyer, fleeing the police unfortunately cost this driver his life. On August 12, 2024, the Alexandria Police Department in Virginia received a call from a man who was worried that their friend was going to hurt themselves. Officers rushed to the friend's address, where they were met in the stairwell by Paul Bennon. Bennon was holding a long-barreled pistol under his chin and told the officers that he wanted to end his life. The officers then spent several minutes trying to calm him down and negotiate his surrender, but when more officers arrived, Bennon pointed his gun at them. This caused the officers to retreat to a safer distance where they carried on trying to resolve things peacefully. At one point, Bennon told the negotiator to look away as if he was going to shoot himself, but the officer refused. However, when Bennon pointed the gun at the officers for a second time, saying he was going to shoot the headlights of the police car, a tactical officer fired 3 shots, killing Bennon.
Alexandria Police Department. It's Paul, right? Paul. Paul, can we talk to you?
Hello?
Hey, Paul.
Yeah.
My name's I'm with the Alexandria Police Department. Are you inside? Can you? Would you mind opening the door and making sure that you don't have a weapon with you?
What's that?
Do you have a firearm with you right now?
No.
Can you open the door and show us your hands, please?
All right.
Thank you.
Hold on.
Paul, we just want to talk, please.
You're not in
Can you put
trouble.
the weapon down, Paul?
Please don't do it. Don't do it, man. Don't do it.
We
Please.
don't want you to hurt yourself.
Sir.
Don't do it. It's something that
Sir!
We don't want you to hurt
Sir,
yourself.
drop the
Back up.
gun!
Yeah.
Sir!
Back up.
Sir!
Stay behind him. Stay behind him. Use the shield as cover. Point you.
Sir, we just want to talk to you.
You move up and you take a position right there in the corner. Will you be able to rest the weapon on the corner? Watch your barrel. Watch your barrel.
No, Paul, you're not. No, Paul,
Using the stairwell
you're not
directly in
this.
from the front door.
Paul, please, just put it behind you.
The apartment's located on the 2nd floor.
Making you feel this way?
The fatal shooting was the third by Alexandria police since 2017. Another officer-involved shooting was caught on dashcam in 2013. Only this time, it was the police officer who was on the receiving end. In Alpharetta, Georgia, 52-year-old Curtis Hicks was pulled over for a tag violation. When Officer David Freeman approached Hicks' vehicle, the offender drew a gun and opened fire. He emptied his entire magazine, striking the officer 5 times and wounding a bystander. Hicks then got back into his pickup truck and sped off. A short while later, Hicks crashed his truck, reloaded, and continued to fire at the police, though this time he was gunned down and killed.
One follow stop's going to be 221 South Main. Hey, sir, stay in your car. Hey, sir, stay in your car.
Officer Freeman had been shot in the shoulder, leg, back, and lower abdomen, but managed to survive. The motive for Hicks' violent outburst remains unknown, with a police spokesman saying, "We have no idea what set him off. It could be anything. We just don't know." This next clip was shown in court during the trial of Mackenzie Shirilla. In 2022, cameras caught her driving her Toyota Camry at speeds of up to 100 miles an hour before plowing straight into a brick wall. Incredibly, Shirilla, who was 17 years old at the time, survived the crash, but her two passengers, 20-year-old Dominic Russo and 19-year-old Davion Flanagan, did not. An investigation found that the crash was intentional, and Shirilla was given 2 concurrent 15 years to life sentences for murder. After receiving reports of a shooting in Victory Boulevard, North Hollywood police in Los Angeles attended the scene to find 37-year-old Sean Griffin brandishing a firearm. Witnesses said that Griffin had already shot someone in their car, and as the police officers approached, Griffin pointed the gun at them. An exchange of bullets then caused Griffin to flee on foot. Additional officers encountered Griffin at the secondary location, and there was another shootout, but Griffin escaped again. He ran into a multi-story car park, and this is where he made his last stand. He fired at officers but was struck down and pronounced dead at the scene. A loaded firearm with 3 bullets was found next to Griffin, and additional live rounds were recovered from his person. No officers were injured. In September 2017, 19-year-old Kanika Jenkins was found dead inside a latched freezer in the Crowne Plaza Chicago O'Hare Hotel in Rosemont, Illinois. Jenkins had attended a party at the hotel, and CCTV captured her stumbling through the halls during the early hours of the morning. Her body was discovered hours later, with Kanika having succumbed to hypothermia inside the freezer. An autopsy revealed alcohol and topiramate, a drug used to treat migraines and epilepsy, were present in her system, and her death was ruled as accidental. One year after the October 7th attacks on Israel in 2023, the final moments of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar were captured live via drone. The footage shows Sinwar sitting in a chair inside an abandoned building. He appears to be wounded, and his face is covered by a keffiyeh. As the drones move closer, Sinwar grabs a stick and throws it towards the camera as if trying to destroy it. According to reports, IDF troops then closed in and took him out. The following footage shows the moments just after 52 David Contreras fatally shot his son. Speaking to his wife through a Ring doorbell camera, he explains that his son is no longer breathing and says that he and 21-year-old Eric had been arguing earlier that day.
Is he
He's
breathing?
he's not breathing. He's dead. The fighting on the way home was unbearable. From one second to the next, he was gonna go to the Keys. He was gonna go with Jacob. He was gonna fight girls. It's not your fault, Odie.
Julie heard you. Julie heard you. I'm sorry.
Please call my brother. I
Where's your
just talked to
brother?
him.
Where's your brother?
Please.
Where's your brother? He's gonna go to jail.
Police body cam footage then shows David being arrested, and he admits once more that he is responsible for his son's death. According to an arrest report, Eric had been shot multiple times for unknown reasons. He has since been charged with second-degree murder. In January 2024, a wanted man was killed by police in a standoff at a motel in South Brunswick, New Jersey. Shamar Leggett, aged 41, was suspected of robbing a bishop in Brooklyn during the middle of a sermon in 2022, another incident that was captured on camera and broadcast online through the church's livestream. More than $1 million in jewelry, including rings, watches, and chains, was said to have been stolen. Police tracked Leggett down, and after a 15-minute standoff, Leggett's girlfriend surrendered. However, Shamar wasn't going down without a fight and later emerged with a gun which he fired at officers. Law enforcement returned fire and fatally struck Leggett. Leggett's last stand was captured by surveillance cameras at the motel. The following animation represents the real-life crash of Aeroflot Flight 593. The plane took off from Hong Kong on the 23rd of March 1994 and was destined for Moscow in Russia. Sadly, it never made it, crashing into a mountain range and killing all 75 passengers and crew on board. Upon investigation, cockpit voice and flight data recorders revealed that the pilot's 15-year-old son had been present in the cockpit. Worse still, the teenager had unknowingly disengaged the plane's autopilot control. This caused the aircraft to roll into a steep bank and near a vertical dive. The pilots fought to level the plane and did so at least twice, but the plane stalled and went into a spin before losing altitude and colliding with the mountains. On the 1st of December 2023, police in Lansing, Michigan received a call from a victim of domestic violence. The caller explained that her husband had hit her and that he had a handgun which he had thrown away.
911, what is the location of your emergency?
Massachusetts Avenue?
Massachusetts Avenue?
Yes, Lansing, Michigan.
Perfect, and then your name? Can you tell me exactly what happened?
My husband's really drunk, and he just slapped me across my face, and he's just really super drunk, and he's getting violent.
Okay, did he have any weapons on him?
He did, but he threw it in the car, so I have it.
What did he use or have?
He has a gun.
While en route, police received a second call from a neighbor who claimed to hear a gunshot and a female crying. 2 minutes later, police received a third phone call from the victim's daughter. She confirmed that the man had slapped her mother and fired a gun to scare her, although the mother had not been shot.
911, what is the location of your emergency?
Massachusetts Avenue.
Is this...
No, this is my daughter.
What's going on? Is she hurt?
Yes, my stepdad slapped her. We can hear him all.
Did he shoot her?
No, but he shot a gun to scare her.
Officers were updated on the situation as they arrived. They encountered an armed suspect. They immediately demanded that he show his hands and get on the ground. However, while on his knees, the suspect reached for the gun in his waistband. That's when officers opened fire. The officers administered first aid to the suspect, and he was transferred to the hospital but was later pronounced dead. Franz Richelt was a French tailor, inventor, and parachuting pioneer. Sometimes referred to as the Flying Tailor, he was obsessed with developing an aviation suit that would convert into a parachute and allow a pilot to survive should they have to exit their plane in midair. He tested his suit on dummies and had some early success, but wanted to try his suit out for real. Eventually, he was granted permission to launch a dummy from the Eiffel Tower, but when he turned up, he was adamant that he was going to jump himself. People tried to stop him, but on the 4th of February, he leapt off the iconic structure. Unfortunately, the parachute failed to deploy, and Franz plummeted 57 meters, 187 feet, to his death. Some claim his death was the first ever to be recorded on film. On December 14, 2023, a fatal crash was captured on camera in the Scripps Ranch area of California. An 82-year-old driver was behind the wheel of a Tesla Model Y when, according to police, he failed to negotiate the right bend in the road and struck the south curb of the center island. The car continued on, striking multiple trees until it came to a stop and ejected the 82-year-old. Sadly, he was pronounced dead at the scene. A 6-year-old boy was also traveling in the passenger seat, but thankfully, he survived with just a minor cut to his head.